G'day and welcome to SC Leaks. I'm Execute. Today we're joined by Reysn, who's a member of our German community. We're joined by Hater and Piggles. How is everyone doing, Reysn? How are you doing?
I'm doing great, and I'm thankful to be here. Thank you for having
Welcome.
me.
Yeah, welcome. And Hater and Piggles, how are you boys doing? How was your holidays, New Year's?
Classic.
Oh,
Classic?
well, I see. Yeah, it was pretty good for me.
Cool.
A nice time to relax.
If I know anything well, the British people can drink. That's about all I know. Right. Cool. All right. So, who is Reysn? I guess I'll let Reysn tell the tale. Well, I don't know. Or Pickles, do you want to tell the tale of how we found Reysn?
Well, I found it because you told me.
Yeah, it was kind of me that found Reysn. I basically randomly go around and look at other YouTube creators and Twitch creators and stuff like that, and I just stumbled on Reysn one night, and he was speaking in German, and I was like, "Do you speak in English?" And he's like, "Yeah," and then he started talking to me, and I pulled Pickles in, and I'll let you keep telling it, Reysn. What kind of happened from there, and what were you doing at the time when we found you?
Um, in this stream, I was completely talking about leaks from your channel, so I do that very regularly. If you post some things and translate them into German and present them with my own thoughts, it's something like I do with everything that comes from Star Citizen, from the official channels and from the unofficial channels. I always, translate the core information and give my own opinion. So so that it's not too boring. I just heard the sound of someone following me, so thank you. I have OBS open in the background, so
Yeah, it's all good. I was intrigued by that. I think Piggles was kind of intrigued by that, but also it kind of brought a realization to me and Piggles that there's this whole other community that it's a lot harder for them to get their Star Citizen news because they're not natively getting, like, it's delivered in English, so you're actually providing a service. And I think there's not just German, there's obviously other creators other than yourself that must be doing this, and I just thought it'd be kind of a cool, kind of somewhat humbling experience to, like, how hard it is for us to get news on SC. What would it be like for other countries? And I kind of wanted you to give a bit of insight into that and kind of tell us how popular that is in regards to, like, are there many other creators that are in German that do what you do, as an example, and hopefully shed some light on how difficult it is for non-English speaking creators.
So I think actually most of the people get their information through YouTube videos from creators in any language. But it is very colored from the content creator that presents the information. And in Germany and in other countries, and other speaking countries, you don't get to read the official statements on things. So you really often rely, if you don't speak English, on how the content creator presenting the information is presenting the information. So there are many other great content creators. I don't want to describe myself as great, but there are great German content creators that provide similar content like I do. So it's a really, really loved game in Germany. I think it's one of the biggest communities, non-English speaking communities. I always find it difficult to stay in the middle of the hate and the love for Star Citizen. So there are always fanboys and there's always the haters. And if you want to be in the middle of this, you get both sides to hate you. And this was a problem for myself a long time. But I built my community around being in the middle of everything, and you don't have to hate, you don't have to fanboy. And but it was hard, and I could imagine it's even harder to start now as the development goes on.
Well, a little tip I'll give you for that is watch content from people that are on those extremes, and it does keep you balanced, so you can see what the extremes are.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I do, and it's good
Definitely.
to know that you're doing that, because it is very hard to stay balanced. I will totally agree with that, and I think Hader and Pickles will both join me in thanking you for providing that service to people in Germany, because I can't imagine what it's like for people having that bridge or gap. Hader and Pickles, you got any thoughts on that at all?
Yeah, I can definitely agree. It'd be rather difficult to really get used, or even as a non-English. My perspective, 80-90% of news is all in English.
Yeah.
But there are also great neutral channels and websites that just translate the stuff from CIG in a neutral manner, pretty much like Board Gamer or Nubifier does.
Yep. And do they just translate it directly, or do they kind of also shrink it like Board Gamer and Nubifier do as well?
Astrosam and Star Citizen Base. Star Citizen Base is the website that just translates. Astrosam is the content creator that just translates the stuff. But there's no one really like Nubifier I found yet. But I'm not aware of every single content creator.
All right. Okay. Well, it's been great having you. You're going to join us for the rest of the show. Is there anything else that you would like to add or suggest or ask that we do differently to help the German community, so to speak?
I have nothing to ask from the English-speaking community in general. I like to consume English content very much. I just want to say, if you ever get in a discussion about Star Citizen, stay calm and let both sides present their arguments. And you don't always have to be right to have a good discussion.
Exactly.
So you don't have to fight red at the end.
Yeah, that's for sure. No, I can see to that. It's definitely something on my other channel, Infrunners. We definitely try and let people discuss and get through everything. So yeah, but that's a learned thing.
That's really important.
Yeah, some people haven't had the opportunity to be in big discussion forums like that, and it took me even time to learn that. So yeah. Hopefully, in the course of this show, as it goes on, we'll just get better and better. So that's what we're hoping to do. All right, let's pass over to Hader. Hader, what are we going to talk about today? What is? What do you want to do next?
Well, we got several fun things. We can talk about the future. We can talk about right now with Xenothreat. But I think actually I'm going to hand it back to you, because you need to talk about your love for Origin Jumpworks, the best manufacturer.
I did not open this. I'm going to lose your camera for a second here, because I did not open this in time. So I apologize to everyone on stream, because I didn't open up this properly.
Where's my face?
That's right. It'll be back. It'll be back in a second. All right. There we go.
I'm very excited for this now.
And the people watching in Discord are not going to know what's going on at all. All right. Let's close this. All right. So I haven't even read this yet, right? So I don't even know what this is. I'm going in completely blind. And I have no idea what... the first line is really freaking me out straight off the bat. But here we go. All right. So this is written by Hader. And this is the poem, the Origin love poem. Here we go. I was only 9 years old. I loved Origin's Jumpworks so much, I had all the packages and skins. I prayed to Chris Roberts every night, thanking for creating the perfect manufacturer. Origin is love, I say. Origin is life. A random user hears me and calls Origin bad. I knew they were just jealous of my devotion to Origin. I called him a cunt. They flamed me. I logged off. I'm crying now, and my wallet hurts. I lay in bed, really cold. I feel something warm. It was the upcoming Origin Jumpworks 400i. I was so happy. It whispers to my ear. I punch above my weight class. It grabs the collar of my shirt with its hook-like halbo and puts me to my computer chair. I'm ready. I spread my wallet open for the 400i. It penetrates my savings. It hurts so much, but I do it for my undying love for Origin. I can feel my unbored children's college tuitions disappearing and saving into pennies. I want to please Origin. Its engines roar a mighty roar as it fills my hangar with its perfectly designed spaceships. The users from earlier was watching through the webcam. The 400i looks him straight in the eye and says, "It's all Origin now." The 400 quantums through my window. Origin is love. Origin is life. That is a random poem, Hater. And why doesn't it rhyme? We did say this before the show, but it's not a poem if it doesn't rhyme.
It doesn't matter if it rhymes or not. Poetry is beautiful as long as
Piggles,
the meaning comes true.
As long as it's presented from Execute.
Piggles, I've had an idea, and I'll talk to you about it after the show. But remind me, because you know I'll forget. So just remind me, I've had an idea to get back at Hater. It's going to be good. We'll get it back to him. That's right. Anyway, all right. So that's out of the way. I can sleep sounder now, not stressing. That's fine. What's next, Hater?
Okay. So, well, I mean, I'm just gonna I'm just gonna ask Reysn. What are you more interested in for right now? Because we can be at really two bigger topics for today, which is, what's gonna happen for the rest of the year, and what's gonna happen right now, which is Xenothreat. And so, like, what do you want to discuss about the now, or do you want to discuss about the future?
I would like to discuss about the future because we know through you guys much about the Xenothreat already. But if you have new hot information, please tell us.
Well,
first.
We do have some new information on Xenothreat. Well, new as in it's all out there now. Like, everything's out there at this point. But like, we can discuss that now or we can discuss that later. It really depends on what you feeling.
I'm feeling like discussing Xenothreat now, quickly. And after that, progressing with the rest.
So, they're currently testing out Xenothreat update on the Evocati people. It's not going the best, as expected. Currently, it's phase
I didn't
2.
expect it. Are the server crashings or what?
Yeah, I mean, there's just general issues. I mean, to be fair, the first patch, it's better than the first patch where literally all the information just didn't exist for a bit. But now, some information exists. And right now they're testing out phase 2, which is the grab shit and bring it back to the Jericho phase. Which is basically, there's, how many, here, I got a little notepad document here. There are 20 wrecks across the system, and players have to grab a bunch of cargo from them and bring it back to Jericho.
Can I just ask real quick?
Are you guys excited for this event? Sorry, Execute.
No.
I
just...
Piggles, are you right to transition to your camera?
Yeah,
while they're talking?
okay.
All right, so I'm going to transfer it to Piggles, and he's going to fly around. Just tell people what we're doing real quick while they're talking, Piggles.
Yeah. So, given the imminent release of the Hercules in coming patches, we thought it would be prominent to get a model of it up on stream.
So he's going to fly around that, give you guys something to look at. I will turn off chat.
That's really nice.
Back to you, Reysn. You were saying.
I was asking if you guys are excited for the Xenothreat gameplay and the whole event.
If you're on the Star Citizen Leaks Discord, as one of the other donation goals, which was passed immediately by someone donating $1,000, that's beside the point. But we're going to be doing a couple more community-focused events over the next year. One of them is we have the event server, like we're putting that back into full gear. We're just gonna have it so people can come in casual, whether or not you're in an org or not, and whether or not you want to do something deep or just fuck around for an hour, blowing up virtual spaceships and grabbing virtual cargo.
There was a poll. Did the UE win in the end?
Oh yeah, no, we're just gonna do standard playthrough. We're not gonna be griefy or anything like that. It was an option because I really don't know how the community leans in terms of the in terms of whether or not we want to be dicks. But I'm probably going to put the poll back out there once there's a better thing we don't know. CIG implied it during the initial press release for the dynamic event system, which was they're going to do dynamically based rewards and whatnot. Like, as we go through the phases may change if we do certain things, or they might happen faster depending on how fast we are. Maybe we have to grab 100,000 cargo as a community, and that's when phase 3 starts or something.
So you're talking about rewards like the Vandal helmet, for example.
Yeah. Whether or not they're physical rewards, or whether or not it's like just how a change. The reward itself is, the event has changed because the players have done this specifically. Depending on whether that gets revealed, we're just gonna do another survey and see if people are still into it. Because as of right now, it's just looking like if we do the mission, we do the mission. It's nothing too complex at the moment.
But could it be like Theaters of War, and we're now waiting another year to get it?
No. They're gonna. I think they know. I mean, they're willing to cut the actual active player base down to 40 per server to get it running, because currently tests are with 40 members.
Reysn, we first heard about Xenothreat at the end of 2019. It's been that long, because the audio files were leaked way back then.
Yeah, I remember them.
Do you know who leaked them, Reysn?
Tell me.
It was me. I leaked them on Inforunners. This is way back when, but yeah. Anyway, that
I just saw them on your Discord.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I really would like if they add some rewards like the Battle Mask, because it really is a motivating thing to have something to work to that you can, that you can have forever. So
hopefully, or at least, but I'm willing to bet it's just gonna be a Spectrum badge.
Okay, that would be really bad. That would be bad.
That said, though, they've been doing a few in-game things like the Vandal Mask and stuff like that. I would not be surprised if it's something similar to that, actually. Like an in-game item might be a way to go too, hopefully.
I really hope so. It motivated many players to actually play the game and do things they would never do regularly.
I'm just going to put, if anyone from CIG is listening, a Chris Roberts or a Pirates Roberts hat, that'd be my first choice.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Would totally take that, yeah. But I think we will talk more about it later, but do you really... So they're cutting the players of the servers, the maximum players of the servers to 40.
Yeah, that's well, at least that's what they're testing at the moment. Because I
all right.
The only reason they keep doing it is because they're seeing if there's like any significant performance boost. Like they're cutting a lot of the content that will be currently in game just to get it running. Like I think they cut out the stress beacons entirely because for the update, just so it runs without destroying the server. I mean, it makes sense. There's going to be 20 of these freaking cargo beacons all over the system. If those things are always active, it's just gonna... We all die.
Yeah.
I mean,
wait, did anyone actually do those distress beacons? I know I never did.
I know some people did because they started. They paid decent.
Sometimes, yes.
But
I won't miss them that much.
They're lame as hell.
Okay.
Don't hold back. Tell us what you really think. I was also going to say, like, cutting it back to 40 people and putting it in a more concentrated area kind of makes sense if they can pull it off. But obviously, with server meshing just around the corner, it's probably not going to be that long anyway until it hopefully goes back up. Like, but that said, I don't think server meshing is really going to make it by, halfway through the year like they originally scheduled. I think it's going to probably be end of the year at this stage.
Yeah, I mean, that's the plan. It's always the plan. But I mean, we'll find out next week. probably.
Mm.
And they say
I hope so.
first for the entire new part 2 to the roadmap. I don't remember.
But I have to ask a question. The model we're seeing in the background is... I'm sorry, but there's a Hercules on screen, so I have to talk about it for a moment. Is this the HoloViewer model, or where did you get it?
It's
Yeah,
the,
this is the model from the HoloViewer at the IAE.
All right.
Yeah, so it's like an updated HoloViewer model. It's like
It's just scale HoloViewer model.
But the thing that we can do in stream that you can't do in the HoloViewer is obviously go up close to it and and see the character as to the scale of it and stuff like that. So that's why I'm getting Piggles to do stuff like this. So little things like when he was flying through the holes and stuff like that. They're things that you'd never get to able to do. We should.
Yeah, especially the holes. Interesting. Yeah.
Well,
also makes a better background than the thumbnail.
Yeah, so maybe we'll have a look through real quick and we can actually talk about it. So those holes that you flew before Piggles, is that they actually have those on the MSR as well. So that's actually a Crusader aesthetic that they've carried on and through, which is kind of interesting. But I believe the MSRs are below.
Yeah, they follow these lines all the way up, kind of the hull of the ship. But we've also got, it's not just those. There are lower ones as well. I come around the back here. You can see we've got another set. Here.
Another interesting
They
thing
just
with this ship as well, it's really going to take over the role of the Caterpillar. Like the Caterpillar is the big cargo holder at the moment, and I think this is going to be the new sweet spot. And one of the things I saw, I was watching an AMA with Board Gamer the other day, as I drop in different people, and someone asked, will the loners change for the Banner Merchantman to be the Hercules? And I reckon that's a distinct possibility. Because the Banner,
I would hope so.
Yeah, and I'd also expect it to do it for things like the larger whole series of ships as well, which is good because it also means you get to try out a different loner. So that's good. Because currently myself, I've got 2 Caterpillars, so it'd be good to have something different. But I am interested to see what a big ship from Crusader is like. I think it'll the bigger ships show more of the design perspective. Like the MSR is the first one we've seen, so it is a fairly big ship. But you know what I mean when you get a second big one? Like you start to go, well, what are the style like what? Because you only got
what are the common elements?
Yeah, because when you've only got a testing size of 1, it's not a very big palette to really work with. But like, say for example, you go look at Aegis, you can pick a lot of the red tail things, that black paint they all have, that type of thing. To give you another point that's completely non-manufacturer specific, when you look at military ships now, they all have that green armor. The Misk, the Starfarer Gemini, the Tanner, stuff like that. They all are starting to get their own theme as well. So we're starting to see these things going across the game. I just find that interesting. What's your thoughts, Hader, on the Hercules? Are you going to a love-hate with it, Hader, or what?
The Hercules is a spaceship that is big, and you can fit ground vehicles into the rear. That is my opinion on the Hercules. Okay, to be honest,
and the front.
I'm not really big into ship hype. The only thing I was really ever hyped for was the MSR, and I bought an MSR.
Yeah,
that's the extent.
Actually, like up until recently, you only owned a Avenger, didn't you? So you've only just upgraded from an Avenger to a MSR recently.
Oh yeah, it was only because I was able to get a decent deal on it. He's
got far more control than the rest of us. Let's just put it that way. He's What about you, Reysn?
Totally.
Have you how much? I shouldn't say how much. How many ships do you have roughly? If you could just give us a figure. Are you
about
deep in the
8
hole?
to 10?
Yeah. See, that's okay. So I'm at 15.
But some of them are promotions, like the Dragonfly.
Oh, so you're way better behaved than me then. I'm at 15. What about you, Piggles? Where are you roughly at?
More than 1.
More than 1, that is not prepared to show.
But execute, are they
Idrises?
Are they all Idrises?
No.
Or some javelins? Some javelins are.
I've actually got 12 javelins.
My biggest ship is a Polaris. So I
Alright.
don't have a lot of the really, really big ships. I have a lot of the industry-based ships. So things like Retaliators, Endeavors, Banner Merchantmen, Orions, things like that. So I don't have, other than at the moment, I currently have an option for a Perseus or a second Polaris. But other than that, I don't have any duplicates either. So yeah, I try to.
So
get
my
one of
biggest
each ship.
My biggest ships are probably the Reclaimer and the Carrack, and everything else is smaller than that.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. So
But
you got some
the
catching up
Hercules-
to do, Mr. Hater.
What?
You got some catching up to do. No, I actually think you've been quite reserved, and in a good way, because I think a lot of us do jump down that rabbit hole. That's for
Yeah.
sure.
That's a big problem.
Back to the
For some
Hercules. I think the ultimate primary use should be zerging people by dropping waves and waves of grey cats out as you're flying over a battle zone.
How many gray cats do you estimate you could fit into the Hercules?
Well, I've gotten. I get in. I did a ship show before. I think we got somewhere between 20 and 30 grey cats in the garage in the Carrack. So,
Is there any
A few more.
internals to this model, or is it completely external only, Piggles?
there isn't really. The extent that we have is a little bit behind the ramp at the front here.
Alright. So prepare for ugly, is
There's
what
your
you're saying.
internals. There's your internals.
Okay, got some interesting detail.
That's all we got, and then the rest of it is just
Empty.
it's magic new see-through technology, greater battlefield awareness.
What was that?
Finally, more windows.
I was looking at the left of Twitch.
You wanted more windows? You got more windows. There you go.
Yeah. Invisitech. It actually makes it look a lot smaller when you're inside it, but it could probably still fit an MSR technically inside it as is at the moment, but yeah. Be
What are
interesting to
those
see.
things on the wings?
I believe that is the landing gear.
Ah.
Yes, I hadn't actually noticed them prior to you mentioning it. So,
Yeah.
it looks like landing gear.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, it's out. Yeah, holds out here. Yeah, there you go.
Interesting.
That's got to be landing gear.
All right. And there are the flaps that go
Okay.
vertical when landing.
Yeah.
So, do you guys want to start discussing the roadmap in the future now?
Yeah, why not?
Is we got we got a year. We got a whole 3 more quarters this year. 4 quarters. I don't know. I can't do
Yeah.
both. But what have you guys read the roadmap? I presume, right?
Yeah. I talked about it 3 hours on stream. Discussed every little thing on it.
A lot of talking.
Yeah, it really was a lot of talking.
The roadmap to me is nice because it goes into far greater detail than the previous one. So you could be
Yes.
like, this ship is having this work done to it. We're expecting it to take this long and it will take this time and this time. Or maybe we're working on this tech, but before this tech we need this. And you can actually see individually what's happening rather than just a generalization.
Yes, totally. But we should calling it. We should call it the progress tracker, so that no one gets confused.
Yeah, that is true.
The actual release date roadmap should be in 2 weeks, I think, right? They said they're going to do the entire year.
Did somebody say release date?
Well, it's funny you mention that release date because that's come up multiple times now because it doesn't look like Squadron 42 is coming out this year because there's stuff in next year for Squadron 42.
Yes.
So that
Yeah.
implies that at the very latest it's next year sometime, not this year.
Is there anything actually in next year for Squadron? Because I thought it was just like a visual thing.
I would have to
I
go back and look
believe
at the roadmap.
So some things are planned till quarter 2 2022, like sliding, prone, ladders. I think they are pretty essential.
Quarter
Sounds like it.
2, 2022. I'm taking a look on here. Nothing's actually goes into 2022 except for, like, some stuff goes in like week 3 of 2022. But like that's about it from all I can see on here.
Well, as soon as it goes into 2022 and it's Squadron 42 related, therefore, yeah. I'd have to look at it again myself, and I can't do that in the position I am right now, so I'd have to wait for it after stream.
Imagine
But,
not having 2 monitors.
I do have 2 monitors. One's recording Reysn, and one's doing this, so I can't do anything else. So yeah, sorry. But yeah, needless to say, I also saw that on Board Gamer's stream the other day when he did a stream. So you can take that with a grain of salt, but I tend to believe what Board says. So I think he tries to put out facts as much as possible.
Yeah, I don't think Squadron 42 will make it 2021.
What the whole? Damn it. I actually do fucking wonder. God, because like, I'm not gonna lie. I've been told a lot that Squadron was closer than they let on. But then we get shit like this, and then I really wonder, what were they on? What were they thinking?
Well, maybe
like, these people gave me legitimate shit, but like they are so off the base with stuff like this. I do wonder what it looks like internally sometimes.
Can't it have been COVID related? That seems to have delayed heaps. Look, Cyberpunk chucked COVID under the bus for its recent apology the other day. Like, but
at least it came out in a great state.
Cyberpunk had legitimate. No, Cyberpunk was just largely mismanaged, which makes me think CIG might be. I don't know. I don't want to blame COVID on what is a 2-year delay, essentially, on like.
Yeah, and CIG said multiple times that it don't affected them hardly.
Well, okay. To be honest, anyone who says that,
I don't think so either, but I stated it.
I think different areas of development would be affected in different ways by COVID.
Yeah, of course.
For example, if you're doing design, having to like work with your other teammates and work through and mull over and do that brainstorming type of stuff, I think that would be a lot more effective because you're not seeing them in person, and seeing people in front of you is very different to talking over, say, Discord or Skype. You don't get that same, passionate stuff. And it was the same thing with art. Like, you can send a picture to someone, but if they're there giving you moral support or positivity, that there's all these other little things that come into play. You know what it's like when you can't see someone and you can only do it distantly. It's not quite the same.
Yeah, that's what got me surprised. In the letter from the chairman, the last one, Chris Roberts said, "Yeah, don't affected us really badly." So I was wondering, like, why did you let this chance slip to have another excuse to delay it a bit more? A good excuse at that.
I think it was better for him just to say it's going to be done when it's done. And I wish Cyberpunk had done the same thing, quite honestly.
That's the right thing.
Yeah, all those big companies, like, they all make that mistake. So, like, when you look back to Doom and Valve and Half-Life and all, those ID software, I kind of muddled their names up there, but you get what I'm trying to say. They used to bring things out to date, and now, when they come out, they just come out when it's done. Because they've learned it's best just to, for the sake of the game and the gamers, it is best just to, though they want it now, like we all want Star Citizen now and Squadron 42 now, we all know at the end of the day, we don't want it to be like Cyberpunk. And we are better just to wait until it's done.
Of course.
My only big issue with the entire, like, wait until it's done thing is that the entirety of Star Citizen just runs off, like, monetarily. It's a speculation game, and it's the only information. It's all pre-orders. That's how they're funded. It's not funded by some marketing or some like investor, except for the investor funding, which is like 60 million, I think, or 50 million. I don't fucking know the number, but
it's about 60 million.
I don't feel like restricting all Squadron information the way they just did is the best way to go about it.
Agreed. 100% agree with that statement. I think they can share things from Squadron 42 that are not story related. And I'll give you an example. It'll be 3, maybe 4 years ago now. They showed off stuff for the flight crew of the Idris, like doing different signaling and stuff. And they said that they brought people in from current flight carriers and stuff, and got them to show what they do and modified it for 1,000 years in the future. Now that was interesting, and they showed off the animations and stuff like that, and that has very little to do with the story. I think the main problem for them is that takes them time to do, and they're worried that that's taking away time from development. Now you also chuck that under the COVID umbrella of not being able to go into a studio or something like that. It makes it so much harder, and I think that's why last year as a whole was very quiet. And I would question this year as well, CitizenCon. I don't think we're going to have a CitizenCon this year, and I think they need to pivot and do what they should have done last year and have a fully digital version. And I think they'll find a fully digital version is going to be way better. Like, let's be honest. The ones that they do are generally for the staff. They're for the staff to turn up, get motivation for the staff. It would be really cool if they did one last year, and I hope they do it this year, where it's for the entire global audience of Star Citizen, because, someone like me that lives at the arse end of the world that can never get up to a CitizenCon, or someone, there are poor people that can't afford to go to a CitizenCon, they don't feel as included. And it would be really good if it was like this online meeting that we could all get together and really, even a Discord where you could get into a Discord and maybe talk to one of the developers, or something like that. There's so many different ideas. They've got 9 months almost, or more. They could brainstorm a whole bunch of stuff they could do. Not just AMAs, but I'm sure you guys have probably got a few thoughts on some of the things they could do for something like that, surely.
But I think it's really good and happy for the team for the staff to have this convention, even if it's just for them to stay motivated and get in touch with the community, with the real people.
Yep.
But I also like your approach. I really only be at CitizenCon online and following online.
If you can't have it in person, then let's at least try it at least once and see how well it goes. Because if it works for the developers and it works for us, isn't that the happy compromise?
Yes, we should totally try it.
Yeah, not having anything at all was it made a very quiet year just so much more quieter again. And unfortunately, and I don't know, this kind of goes back to what Hader was saying, but it made the anniversary sale the highlight of the year. A whole bunch of pre-ordering was the highlight of the year. And yes, obviously they had really great spending last year, and I wonder how much of that was because people were stuck at home and actually, for the first time, discovered Star Citizen. And I think that was, I think it really did, I don't know, it's obvious to me COVID had a positive effect on the game. What are your three gentlemen's thoughts?
Positive? Wait, sorry, what?
Let me clarify then. I think COVID had a positive outcome on the backing of the game. Does that make more sense?
Sorry. Oh, that's what you mean. Okay.
Yeah, sorry. Only half listening, Hader, it's fine.
I'd be inclined to mostly agree with you on that. I think that generally being stuck at home, you're going to do a lot more unit browse the internet, other stuff or similar projects for the first time. I think to get into this, and obviously we can see that record funding.
Yeah, I agree. You just see it in the stats. Something happened last year, and it may be not only because the Citizen got a whole lot better, which it did, but it's not at a place where it. Yeah, I think I just agree that COVID could have had a big influence on it.
I'll also add Invictus. That definitely had another positive. Like whoever was the guy at the end, like someone's come in and gone, why don't you just duplicate this sale and do it 6 months later, and you can do it every 6 months. Do you know what will be the next thing? We'll have event sales. So you'll have the anniversary sale, and then every 3 months there'll be something like a quarterly sale. That'll be the next step they do, I reckon. So instead of just having anniversary and Invictus, there'll be 2 more that are kind of like pivoted to go in between those. And I reckon that's what will end up happening.
Well, I don't think the sales were exactly the big takeaway from it. I mean, obviously we have 2 sales, 2 giant sales a year. I think that's not really going to change. Might have like smaller sales, but nothing will be as big as the Fleet Week and then the CitizenCon sale. But it seems like from here on, they're going to be focusing a lot more on the events. I mean, it's very clear they're going to be focusing on these dynamic events. From their dynamic events that are going to be in this patch, the next patch, and then the patch after that, at the very least.
Do you think that was influenced a lot by the Vandal helmet type thing? That was a test, and they saw how much the uptake was of that, so they've gone, right, well, this is how we drive more engagement with simple events?
I wouldn't say it was the test. I would say Fleet Week was the test. Or was that during Fleet Week?
Yeah, I also think so. I think... Yeah.
No, Fleet Week, like having
they tested dynamic events with this, didn't they?
With this or the Fleet Week?
With the Fleet Week.
Yeah, they tested it out by...
Are you burning?
No, there is a smoke detector in my house that is faulty. Joy.
All right.
It's going off. It's out in the hallway out there, and it should stop after a couple of minutes. There we go. It stopped. So yeah, apologize. It's one of those. I don't know. It's just annoying. I have to get it fixed.
As long as we don't see smoke.
Yeah. Or I start melting. Yeah, that's fine.
But Fleet Week tested out dynamic. Oh yeah, we're gonna move from A to B and quantum jump, blah blah blah, and it can all be edited by a developer. There's a bunch of stuff. So like, oh yeah, this is going bad on a because that's another thing about dynamic events. Another big thing you are going to notice, especially with Xenothreat, is that developers can go into a server, especially with like a streamer on it, and say, "Oh, that's not fun," and they snap, and boom, something progresses. Like there was a bunch of stuff for people, developer, to just come onto a stream and move the fleet to another place. Just like a simple command, but like.
I'm interested.
Go ahead.
Can I ask you something? I'm interested in your guys' opinions on. I heard many complaints about why does an alpha game do big events, big sales, big in-game events, and so why are they investing time in this instead of building a new landing zone, for example? Why the convention center and not this?
Star Citizen isn't an alpha game. Star Citizen is fully
I do say that all the time.
You are playing Star Citizen right now. You are playing the full game. No matter
It's
what
early
they tell
access.
you, you are playing Star Citizen as it is going to be. You are playing a fully released game. That is how CIG sees Star Citizen. That is how they are marketing Star Citizen. Whether or not you agree with it or not doesn't matter. I
think the point Reysn's trying to get at though is that they are working on this game and they are funding it as they make it. So they are having to make a compromise, Reysn, where they have to sell the game to people and they have to keep working on it at the same time. And you can see that very clearly. They are making compromises to keep funding the game. That's what you're getting at, isn't it? Yeah, and I agree with that.
Yeah,
they are doing that.
I wouldn't even say it's a compromise. It's just how they're. It's just how they're treating it now. Like they theoretically, if they scaled back development in some areas, I forget how green is CIG. I'm pretty sure they can probably finish Squadron. They just said, we don't take any more money for a bit, and we'll remove all our.
I just always get into arguments about this is an alpha. You can't complain, and I say no, it isn't an alpha. It's at best an early access game. So they do events. That's proof enough.
The issue is there's 2 sides to it. Obviously, one side being that they're a business and businesses need money to function. The events and sales are a really great way to bring that cash in. But on the other hand, they're also developing a game. Despite, early access, full release, whatever you want to call it, it is quite clearly not finished.
Yeah.
By any stretch of the imagination. So you've got two ends. You need money, function, and this is the best way to get that money. But you also need to finish that game. And the issue is you need to strike a balance between...
Yeah. The truth, as always, lies in the middle.
Exactly. And only CIG can really shed light on this because, you know, they keep that internalized. And I think that's why you don't see the... I'd be really interested to see this year's financials, or 2020's financials at the end of this year. Because it's going to be so interesting, because I don't think it'll be until then can we see the effect that COVID and the Invictus sale has had. And I think we will kind of see it a little bit with Invictus coming up soon. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see where that goes.
I do wonder if they're going to just do Invictus again, or they're going to tie it in with the other event they have planned.
Yeah. Well, I hope Xenothreat goes well, because I had a lot of fun with just the Vandal Helmet event. Like, I met a lot of people doing that event. Like,
it was fun, yeah.
Well, Piggles was with me, and we met a whole bunch of people doing that event. And I even know Algrid from Inferonus. He met a heap of people as well. I don't know about yourself, Hater, but it was really interesting. And I think it will happen again with this one.
I personally didn't participate in the last event. I do know that our server was running, or a bunch of our admins were running the event, or at least we're running the big Xenothreat server. Or not the... Fuck, I keep tripping over myself. The big... Yeah, Horse and Rabid Crabs were running the Vandal Mask server.
They changed the name of the server to SC Elix Events, is what they've called it.
Yeah, so, we're gonna open that server back up in the coming days. Get everyone in. We're gonna figure out some team captains and whatnot, and get some teams together, just so we can go and kill a bunch of Xenothreat people.
I might have to put you in contact with one of the Australian community servers. They actually do weekly events like that. They might be able to give you some tips and pointers on events that work well and ones that do not. I'll talk to you about after the stream. Yeah. All right. Is there anything else we want to talk about, or should we start to wrap up?
I have one last thing I want to bring up.
Shoot.
With Nyx and Pyro on the roadmap, do you think either one will make it in 2020? And jump gate, location scaping is also on the roadmap, all this stuff.
Pyro.
They have stated that we're not going to see another system until server meshing and all that stuff is in. So it'll all really be dependent on of what we hear about that. And I'm sure we'll hear about that from CIG at some point. Like, if it's coming, they'll put it on, inside Star Citizen or whatever. So I would hope that it comes when they said, but has anything ever come when they said? It's pretty rare.
Let's say it.
Yeah.
Here's the deal, right? If Pyro and server meshing is planned for Q3 on the roadmap, I believe it will come in Q4. If it's planned for Q4, it will come next year in Q1.
Yeah.
I would, no matter where they put it, delay it by a quarter. That's when it's probably going to come.
Or two.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right then.
All right.
You got anything you want to add, Piggles? You're being very quiet again. Humble.
I haven't got much to say.
Yeah, it's all good.
He's just taking in the reviews.
I will take the opportunity to thank our patrons for Piggles' new mic that we got him. So he's actually on a new microphone. So if he sounds a little weird, please let us know. And we'll hit that dialed in over the next couple of episodes. Kind of like the same problem we had with Hater earlier on, but we'll get that dialed in and so you guys can hear him clearer. All right then. Thank you for.
It's a bit bigger than I was expecting.
It's a bit bigger. Yeah, that's what all the girls say, don't they?
Oh wait, before we go off, we forgot to answer any quick questions. We don't have. Yeah.
Yeah, go for it. Do you have any Patreon questions?
Well, I don't have any Patreon questions. I'm just seeing if there's any people in chat who want to ask questions, because I know there were a couple people who wanted to ask a quick question, and I'm just gonna let them ask their questions. And
all right. Well, we technically got
them by saying.
We technically got 12 minutes left if you want to make it on the hour. So yeah, if you guys want to get some questions in, I will take the opportunity. Yep. Well,
I know what you meant.
While we're waiting for that, I will take the opportunity to thank you, Reysn, for joining us, and the service you offer to the German people or Star citizens. I think that's really good, and I might actually look out and see, because I've been branching out. I also ran into a French lady that does a similar service to yourself, so I do know there are other people that do that as well. So I might actually reach out to some other content creators that are not natively English and try and bring them into the fold and see how that goes.
Thank you very much for having me. I'm sorry my English wasn't that great today.
That's all, I can totally understand. There's nothing. Well, I don't know. I don't know about chat, but I haven't had a problem with you. It's just like having a conversation with anyone.
You aren't Ogtum with a French accent as thick as molasses.
Yeah. So,
yeah.
No, fine. No, your English is great, man.
Yeah.
Kudos.
Thank you.
Okay, so I'm reading. Actually, doesn't really seem like the questions are that big. I mean, like, Redeemer model fit vehicle. Wait, can a Redeemer model fit vehicles? No. Smarv Dog asks Polaris. No, not this year.
Polaris was
it's on there for this year. It's on there. This year. It's not this year.
Do you know what actually worked out from that Polaris though? Is they said the Banner Merchantman's gonna be after the Polaris, so that means that'll be a year later. So that basically means from the because I was there at the first time the Banner Merchantman ever went for sale. So the original concept in 2013. That'll literally make it 9 years from when it went on concept to when it was released. That's nuts.
Nearly a decade.
That's nuts.
Imagine thinking the Polaris or the Banu Merchantman's a real ship.
Yeah.
I cash in next patch. Gonna be great. That's I cash in next patch. That's just initial work on it. And it's basically just like they're saying, hey, yeah, the next patch is gonna have stuff done for iCache, which I don't get why they're putting on the release roadmap when technically it's not a feature that's in the patch.
Yeah.
But I don't get their language on this entire release format because it's going to be something that's in the background.
But server meshing and Banner Merchantman will be in the next patch, right?
Yes.
All right.
What are you talking about? They came out in 3.10, don't you remember?
Can I just ask a question in the YouTube comments or in the chat comments? Can you please let us know your thoughts about having models like this one in the background while we're talking? It's a new thing we're trying. We thought you guys might enjoy that, so please let us know your thoughts. And we'll try and do that every time we do a stream. We'll have a different model in the background and talk about it a little bit.
If you're asking questions about stuff that's just on that new roadmap, the new roadmap's about what everyone, unless like I get in contact with specifically the people on those teams, that's what everyone else in like CIG knows. So
There's a question there in chat by someone called Reysn. You should read that one.
Oh, there's a question by Reysn.
Oh no, I think he's actually pronounced Reysn.
Reysn. Oh, sorry. Reysn.
The 400i, right? So I don't exactly know. I know there was that unannounced bit is, the 400i. It's final work on it, but I don't know whether it's going to be in 312.1. Or it's going to be in 3.13, but it's real, and I'm going to yell if it's not 3.11 if it's not 3.12.1. I'm just going to be upset because I do not want to keep hearing about the 400i.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
So we shared it last stream, didn't we? We have other images of that ship, so we can't share them though for source reasons. We didn't even want to share the ones that were shared, did we?
Yeah.
So maybe honestly, maybe we'll look at getting. Could we possibly look at getting those redrawn? The other ones.
Maybe
we'll talk about it after. We'll talk about it after stream.
No, after stream. Yeah.
Yep. All right. But yeah, there are other images that you can like. Piggles and myself will also attest because we've seen them. That ship is very real. It would be a lot of work with all the different angles of it, because it's got different angles of the ship. It'd be a lot of work to fake that. Let's just put it that way.
Quite a peculiar shape.
I'm looking forward to it.
Well, and I know Piggles knows a lot more context on it. He knows the guy. You know where it came from. Also, I see one last question, and this is the question. Honk. It's on the roadmap. You know where it's coming. Yeah. it's
Are
coming.
there any questions we want to ask chat?
There's one in there about the refinery ship.
Why?
Any news about the refinery ship? I don't believe there's any new news on that, is there?
What the Nomad's already out. What are you talking about?
Yeah, that's what I said.
Yeah. I don't know. Might be an unannounced ship. Honestly, we don't have much information on any of the unannounced ships this year. Not yet. I'm kind of waiting until after this next patch. We'll find out more later. There is one big significant thing. There's like, I don't know. It might be. This is put the speculation thing on there.
Hang on, I gotta press the key. That one. Yeah, speculation zone
there-
activated.
Yeah, there it is. Gotta just check this roadmap. I know there's like an unannounced L's landing zone feature by the landing zone team, I think, which is just going to be the. There's supposed to be this wrecked javelin city, and that's what it is.
Oh,
It's gonna be like a little FPS area. It's gonna be fun.
nice.
Yeah. That'll be your taste of polished FPS gameplay that isn't Theaters of War. Jesus Christ, it's 2021. I keep forgetting. Yeah.
Do you know the winner of that F7A upgrade, Hader?
Yeah. They're not on. We already. If you check the server news stuff, you can see who it was. It was. Let me check.
Don't know the guy's name off the top of your head? It's okay.
Kazu.
So that 5 times fast. Jesus. Alright, congrats to him though, because they're pretty damn rare. And I managed to find a gentleman that had 4 of them. So
Yeah, they applied it to their regular just Hornet. Yeah, so yeah, it was perfectly taken care of.
Well, I'll have another one to give away on Inforunners real soon. And I'll talk about that on Inforunners. I know Piggle's got one of them, and there's one left, but I think I'll probably... well, I think the gentleman may hold on to the last one, and we'll give it away down the line, either on Inforunners or C-Leaks at some point.
Chat
All
on
right.
stream is lagging a bit.
Yeah,
Sorry, I was talking to myself.
That's right. Well, yeah, cool. I'll turn that speculation thing off. With that then, is there anything else? I think we're out of questions, and that's about it. All right. Well, thank you guys for joining us, and I'll switch over to the credits, and Hader can start reading those out.
Well, thank
Goodbye.
you to our $10 tier of Leaky Pipe producers: Faydog, Unctum, Henry V, Archie, Dirk Mervis, Capt Despon, Reccom, Josh Heilman, Yannick Kyomine, Boobbot, Foxnix, AA001, Thorsten, Kenny G. Sullivan, Professor Mango, Rain, David William, Sam Zimmerman, Narky.live. And that's about to do it for a $10
Reysn.
tier.
Yep, and Reysn. Let us
And Reysn,
know in
don't
the,
forget
Reysn.
Reysn.
let us know in the comments below if you know where the thumbnail background image is from, and we'll see you next time.